Yo, what's good homies, and welcome back to another Rugby League Live 4 video. We're back with our second episode of Players in Focus. Before we jump right into it though, I ended up making an account so I can check out the community, see what they made and all of that. And I came across this little picture here on the popular clubs tab with Jared Haynes celebrating. Not too sure if anyone's talked about it yet, but it kind of looks like the Showboat option is back. So yeah, that was an interesting little find. Just wanted to share that with you guys. Anyway, let's get right into these Players in Focus. Alright, first up, we'll be taking a look at Johnathan Thurston. Pretty decent likeness. It looks way better up close than what it does from afar. So yeah, let's get into the stats. For some reason, I don't know why his overall changed, but it's usually a 93. When I went into his stats, it went down to a 91. Looking at his skills, as you'd expect, both his kicking and passing is fairly high. One thing to note though is his place kick is in the 70s. Other than the place kick, I'd say that everything else is pretty spot on. Moving on to the next sets of skills, evasion skills, I reckon his sidestep and the break tackle was a little too high for Thurston. Even the fend, I reckon the fend should be a little bit lower than what it is now. The rest of the stats seem pretty on point as well. I like how the tackling's low, the drive tackling is low, and especially the impact tackle. Alright, next up, we'll be taking a look at GI here, and another great looking likeness. As we quickly move on to the stats, he's an 88 overall, and I think that's fair. One thing I don't really agree with here is that his sprint speed is at a 96. If Cara is a 98, I reckon GI should be low 90s or an 89 or something like that. Other than the sprint speed, I think everything else seems pretty fair. Alright, next up is TuivasaSheck. We already knew how good his likeness was from the early screenshots and all that. I just want to reiterate that my PC isn't doing the game any justice. It'll look 100 times better once you get it in front of you. Alright, so he's an 85 overall, and as far as attributes go, I reckon it's pretty spot on as well. If anything, I think most people wouldn't agree with the agility. 81 is fairly low for someone as agile as Roger is. Anyway, moving on. His kicking and passing seem fairly realistic. I reckon every outside back should at least have a decent grubber and a decent chip kick. It's pretty much a skill that most backs can perform nowadays. Alright, the last player for this list is Jimmy the Jet. Another outstanding looking likeness for James Roberts here. There's been a lot of debate on whether he was rated fairly with an 83 overall, and one thing to note is that his speed is there, a 98 overall. Out of the few players we've seen so far, him and Cara are arguably the fastest. His kicking skills and passing skills, I reckon they got right. Overall, his stats, I reckon they did a good job on it, probably the most realistic out of everyone we've seen. So yeah, that's going to wrap up this episode of Players in Focus, episode 2. Don't forget to let me know in the comment section who you would like to see, and as always, drop that like button for more content. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you later.